Hi you guys. So I wanted to make a video talking about my experience into Telos, the Lemurian, the fifth dimensional Lemurian city that is in Mount Shasta. So I just got done recording a video about my whole experience and trip and my goddess retreat that was in Mount Shasta a few weeks ago, and I wanted to make a separate video talking about my experience going into Telos during meditation because I feel like it deserves its own video. So the first time that I went into Telos during meditation was my second or third time going to Mount Shasta ever, and I was on a tour with Mount Shasta Spiritual Tours. His name is Paul, and on Instagram his name is Mount Shasta Spiritual Tours, spelled MT. And then he takes us to all the portals on the mountain. One of the portals is the Telos Portal. And so the first time I experienced that, it was really, really crazy. I was with my soul sister Jasmine, and we went on a tour with him together, and he guided us into Telos. And I questioned my experience for like the first few months because I was like, that's crazy, like that sounds crazy, you know? So after kind of letting it soak in, and I was like, wow, that really happened, and why doubt it? That was an amazing magical experience. And so when that happened, I was greeted by Adama, the high priest of Telos. I'm going to explain this book in a little bit, but I was kind of rushed during meditation because the sun was going down, and we were like being guided into meditation, but like we had to leave the mountain or we'd be like hiking in the dark because it was a 4-hour tour. So we were kind of like deep in the forest and we had to start hiking back. So we were rushed, and my experience there at that time was I was guided into Telos by Paul. And then I was greeted by Adama, and he was asking like telepathically, where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Like kind of giving me a tour of Telos, but like it took me some time to figure out what I wanted to see. And then by that time I had to be guided out of the meditation and, you know, say goodbye. And it wasn't until my retreat that I got to go again. And this time I actually got to explore it. So it was really cool, and I really want to share my experience with that. And before doing that, I want to explain what Telos is. I said it briefly in the beginning of the video, but Telos is a fifth dimensional city that is in Mount Shasta, but it's not physical, it's fifth dimensional, so it's like more energetic. This book is actually a channeled book where they channel the Lemurians that live in Telos, and the high priest of Telos is Adama. I'm going to show you guys a picture of him, even though I just showed it already. But this book explains the connection between Mount Shasta and the Lemurians, and it's a really, really good book. So if you have not had a chance to read this, I just realized my nails match this book perfectly. How funny. If you had not had a chance to read this yet, there's 3 different volumes, and they all talk about information that we need to know that the Lemurians is giving us for heading into the 5th dimension in our golden age, and just all this beautiful Lemurian wisdom. So if you feel drawn to Lemuria, or you feel like really connected to Lemuria, like you've maybe lived some lifetimes there, then definitely get those books. So during my retreat, we did a tour with Mount Shasta Spiritual Tours as part of the itinerary, and he surprised me by telling me that he was taking us all to the Telos Portal. And I was so excited, and I didn't tell any of the girls because I wanted it to be a surprise. And then like halfway through the tour, Paul was like, we're going to the Telos Portal, and everyone was like really, really, really excited. And so it was a 4-hour tour, so we visited some other portals on the way, and we were like hiking through the magical, mystical forest where we were encountering like tree spirits and elemental beings and all this magical stuff happening. And then we get to the Telos Portal and we lay down, and Paul guides us into meditation. And before he does that, he explains that he found his parents, his Lemurian parents, the last time, or not the last time, but when he was in Telos and he got to meet his parents. And so I had kind of set an unconscious intention, like, wow, that's really cool. I want to meet my parents, like, in this experience. So setting intentions is very important because it allows you to kind of draw magnetically that experience to you because you're wanting it. So, like, I didn't actually consciously say I want to experience this, but in my head I was like, that sounds really cool, I want to do that. So when he's guiding us into meditation, it was different from the last time, and he said we were kind of flying over Telos at first. So like when he was guiding us there, I could actually feel myself and like see myself in my inner vision, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like inner vision, like that you see with your third eye. So it's not a physical thing that you're like seeing, but I could feel it. I could see it inside my mind's eye, and it was really, really cool. I'm gonna tell you guys the rest of the story in a second. I'm having a little cacao ceremony right now with my little starseed mug. So I could see myself flying over the city, and it was like this huge etheric crystal city is how I saw it, because it's going to be different for everyone. And I just imagined it as this huge, and keep in mind that imagination is real. It's ancient memories that you're remembering. So I'm imagining myself flying over the city and flying down to the city, and there's these huge crystal buildings, and there's like these huge doorways that you could walk through the crystal like city and buildings. And I remember just walking, there's this gorgeous garden with like crystal clear blue water like flowing through with the most vibrant, beautiful flowers, a little bridge like going over where you could walk over the stream. And then I kind of forgot what happened after that, but then I remember seeing a lineup of people, like a huge like gathering of maybe like 50 people, kind of like applauding me and like welcoming me back home. And then I see this gorgeous like priestess, and she had like brunette light brown hair, and she looked like a priestess, and I was like, that's my mom. Like, I just knew. I didn't know how I knew, but I was like, that's my mom. That's like my mother that's in Lemuria. Like, because they're, you know, it's hard to explain, but all time is happening simultaneously. So it's confusing because sometimes I say past life to refer to like my past life in Lemuria, but it's actually all is happening simultaneously. It's actually happening right now. And it's only for us to understand with our linear mind that we use the terms past, present, future. But when you're understanding like your multidimensionality, that you have multiple aspects of your soul that is experiencing different timelines, it's kind of hard to explain, but if you guys already know what I'm talking about, you'll get what I'm trying to say, is that a certain aspect of my soul still is living in that Lemurian civilization, because it's not the past, it's happening now. So I was able to tap in to that timeline and to see my mother in that lifetime. So it was incredible. And then when it was time to go, because Paul was starting to guide us out of the meditation, everyone was, I don't remember if they were clapping when I left or right when I walked in. I actually think it was when I was leaving, but I'm not sure. Actually, I should have made this video right after the experience so I didn't forget, but I don't know if I got to give her a hug or anything. But I remember saying like, I'll see you next time, and I have to go, and everyone was saying like, we're so proud of you, you're so proud of the work you do. And I forgot, before that happened, I guess I'll just finish the story so I don't confuse everyone by jumping around. But then I say goodbye to everyone. I say like, I'll see you again very soon. And I kind of like fly back out of Telos. Yeah, that makes sense. I was flying up out of Telos because it's in Mount Shasta. Like, you'd have to fly down to go there. That's really cool. I just realized that. But before that happened, before getting into Telos, I was greeted by Saint Germain. And Paul guided us into that, and he was saying like, Saint Germain has a gift for you, what do you see? And I remember trying to think of Saint Germain like a day prior to that experience, and I couldn't remember what he looked like. And I was like, why can't I think of his face? Because I've seen paintings of him before. But when I saw him in Telos, it was so crystal clear that his face popped into like my vision so clearly, and so the colors were so vibrant. I was like, there's no way my mind or my ego could try to doubt that experience, because I saw him so vividly. And then he gave me a violet crystal, because the violet flame of Saint Germain, and that's what happened before we went into Telos. Is Paul said he had a gift for each one of us. What did we see when we came out of the meditation? And Paul was asking everyone what they saw. Another girl also said she got a crystal heart as a gift. So I thought that was really cool that we both got crystals, and it was just such an incredible experience to, like, it sounds crazy, you know, to say, oh, I went into a 5th dimensional city in meditation, but I used to watch videos before going to Mount Shasta of people's experience with Telos, and they said like similar stories, and I would get kind of like jealous, like I'd be like, I want to go, I want to experience that. And the first few times that I went to Mount Shasta, it didn't happen. And then my first experience wasn't as significant, so it was still beautiful, but it wasn't like as fulfilling as this experience. And I'm just really, really, really grateful, and I feel like I will be back. A lot of people get to visit Telos in their dreams or in meditation, and it's so magical. So if you are feeling like that connection to Lemuria and to Telos, or just hearing those words like kind of resonates with you and it stirs something up in you where you get emotional, or you just are like, wow, that sounds really right, like it sounds familiar, even though my logical mind says that sounds crazy, like something in your heart is like, yes, like I feel like explore that, you know, and it will lead you to such magical things. And just one way to explore it is through reading these books, and then the second way would be like watching YouTube videos about people's experience with it, and then, you know, going to Mount Shasta and experiencing it for yourself. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope I will make another video soon about my next experience into Telos.